Rebirth of Shinobi World 1. Beep, 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 beep. The shrill sound of an alarm clock jolted me awake. My head throbbed as I groggily sat up, only to freeze in confusion. The bed I was lying on, the room around me, none of it was familiar. A neat study table with a computer stood in one corner, a bookshelf filled with books next to it, and a window opposite the bed let in the soft morning sunlight. The last thing I remembered was clutching my chest as pain ripped through me on my way home from work. A heart attack. So, am I dead? I looked down at my hands, flexing them slowly. They looked younger, smoother. My body felt lighter, stronger even. Slowly, I got out of bed, my bare feet touching the wooden floor as I stumbled toward the mirror on the wardrobe. The moment I saw my reflection, I froze. Staring back at me was Itachi Uchiha. Long, raven black hair framed sharp, angular features. Piercing black eyes, a lean yet powerful build, it was unmistakable. I looked exactly like the infamous shinobi from Naruto, my favorite anime. My breath quickened. What the hell? Before I could fully process this, a translucent blue window appeared in front of me, hovering in midair like something out of a video game. Naruto Recreation System Activated. Welcome, host. Your task: recreate the Naruto plot within this world. Generate shock value to buy items from the shop. What the hell is this? I whispered, reaching out to touch the window. My hand passed right through it, but the text remained clear as day. You've got to be kidding me, I muttered. Recreate the Naruto plot. Shock value? What does that even mean? As if responding to my confusion, a new message appeared. The shock value generated by introducing Naruto concepts will determine your rewards. The greater the impact on this world, the greater the rewards you will receive. Before I could ask another question, a new line of text appeared. Host may inquire about the current world. Fine, I said, crossing my arms. Where am I? And why me? You are in the world of High School DxD. Selected for your deep knowledge of Naruto and this world, you are uniquely suited to create chaos and balance through your task. I froze. High School DxD. Of all the worlds I could have been reincarnated into, it had to be this one. I refuse to believe this, I said, shaking my head. My mind raced. DxD was a dumpster fire. A world filled with overpowered devils, angels, fallen angels, and mythological creatures, and all tied together with an absurdly perverted plot. In my past life, I'd watched High School DxD purely out of curiosity. It was an ecchi show pretending to have a deep story, but let's be honest, there wasn't much to see beyond fanservice. The anime had been so sanitized that despite being based on an 18+ genre, the most intense scenes involved awkward kissing and unnecessary boobs show for public to see. I'd hated it. Not because of the plot or the characters, but because it promised something it never delivered. It was like a bad joke, and now, I was stuck in it. This has to be a mistake, I muttered. There's no way I'm in that world. This is no mistake, host. Your task remains unchanged. Bring Naruto's world to life and leave an impact. And if I refuse? Refusal will result in termination. The words sent a chill down my spine. Fine, I said, rubbing my temples. Let me get this straight. I'm supposed to recreate the Naruto plot in this world, earn rewards based on how shocked people are, and somehow survive in this chaos-filled mess of a universe. Correct. Great, I muttered. Just great. Before I could ask more questions, my phone buzzed on the bedside table. Picking it up, I saw a message from my friend. Yo, Itachi, you coming to school or what? I stared at the message in disbelief. Itachi. Is that seriously my name now? Looking around the room, it became clear I lived alone. There were no signs of other people, no family photos, no shared spaces. It was just me. This world had given me the name and face of Itachi Uchiha, and I was completely on my own. This day just keeps getting worse, I muttered, grabbing the Kuo Academy uniform neatly folded on a chair. As I got ready, one thing became clear. If I wanted to survive in this world and avoid getting caught in the crossfire of devils and dragons, I had no choice but to embrace this ridiculous system. Naruto's world in DxD. The idea seemed insane. But if I played my cards right, it might just be the only way to carve out a future in this absurd world. Let's see what kind of shock value I can create. With that, I smirked at my reflection in the mirror. If this world wanted chaos, I'd give it chaos. 6 comments 0 vote. Rebirth of Shinobi World 2. As I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the message on my phone, I considered replying. Before I could type anything, however, the translucent blue window popped up again, blocking my view. Would you like to begin the process of fully activating the system? I groaned. Fully activating? Why not? I don't want to go to school anyway. Confirmation received. Initiating full system setup. The window flickered, and the first message of the activation process appeared. Step 1. Nation creation. The geography of the Naruto world and Earth is different. You must create the 5 great nations to proceed. Select regions from this world that will serve as the foundation for these nations. I raised an eyebrow. Create the 5 nations. This might be tough. But okay. Curious, I tapped on the window, and a map of Earth appeared, complete with a drag-and-drop interface. It displayed the entire planet, split into countries. What should I do now? I asked aloud. The 5 great nations must be established for the Naruto world to function. Select regions that match their attributes and geographical significance. Alright, I guess that makes sense. Let's start with Japan, I muttered. After all, Japan had always seemed like the most obvious choice for the Land of Fire. I zoomed into the map and dragged Japan into the highlighted area labeled Land of Fire. Error. Region is too small to represent the Land of Fire. Try again. What do you mean, too small? The system didn't respond to my complaints. Sighing, I tried again, this time dividing Japan into 5 regions: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu, and Okinawa, each corresponding to one of the 5 nations. Error. Region division does not align with Naruto world geography and they are too small. Try again. Frustrated, I grabbed my phone and searched for maps of Naruto's world. I found an overlay of the Naruto map on Earth and began comparing the two. From what I could gather, the Land of Fire needed to be vast, fertile, and home to a large population. The Land of Water needed to be an island or coastal region, and so on. Unfortunately, dividing Japan into 5 nations didn't work, nor did using any single country. This isn't working, I muttered, tossing my phone onto the bed. After an hour of trial and error, a realization hit me: I couldn't limit myself to Japan. If I wanted this to work, I needed to consider the entire world. Land of Fire. For the Land of Fire, I needed a vast, fertile, and populated area. My answer was to combine the Valerie-Pierre's circle with the United States. This mix of Asia's fertile regions where half of the world population lives and America's sprawling plains and cities gave the Land of Fire the size and influence it deserved. I dragged the highlighted areas of Japan, China, India, Vietnam, and US into the map. Land of Fire established. Finally, I sighed, feeling a small sense of relief. Land of Water. The Land of Water, as per the Naruto world, was an island nation with a strong maritime culture. My mind immediately went to Australia. Surrounded by water and isolated, it was a perfect match. Land of Water established. Land of Wind. The Land of Wind was a desert nation, known for its harsh climate and sparse population. For this, I selected the Middle East and Northern Africa, regions dominated by deserts like the Sahara and Arabian Peninsula. Land of Wind established. Land of Earth. The Land of Earth was mountainous and rugged, with steep terrains and a strong military culture. I chose the Himalayan region, including Nepal, Tibet, and parts of Central Asia, extending into Afghanistan and northern Pakistan. Land of Earth established. Land of Lightning. The Land of Lightning was known for its mountainous coastline, thunderstorms, and rugged beauty. For this, I selected the Andes mountain range in South America, including countries like Chile, Peru, Ecuador, and parts of Colombia. Land of Lightning established. With the 5 great nations set, I turned my attention to the smaller nations. Minor nations. I figured I'd start with the Land of Rain. It needed to be a place known for heavy rainfall, so I picked Amazon rainforest, one of the wettest places on Earth. Next, the Land of Snow fit perfectly with Russia. As for the Land of Waves, I chose the Caribbean islands for their small, isolated communities. All nations established. Proceeding to step 2. Leaning back in my chair, I exhaled deeply. The world map before me was now divided into a bizarre hybrid of Naruto's geography and Earth's regions. It was surreal, yet somehow satisfying. 3 comments 0 vote. Rebirth of Shinobi World 3. As the translucent system window flickered again, I braced myself for the next step in this convoluted game. Step 2. Integration. The geography of the Naruto world has been successfully integrated into this world. All 5 great nations and minor countries are now recognized by the system. Chakra, Jutsu, and Shinobi culture are ready to be introduced. Proceed to finalize the setup. Finalized capitals and ninja villages for the 5 great nations. After seeing the message, I started to stabilize the capitals of these elemental nations in Naruto along with their ninja villages. 1. Land of Fire. Capital City, Washington, D.C., USA. Hidden Village, Hidden Leaf Village, Tokyo, Japan. 2. Land of Water. Capital City, Wellington, New Zealand. Hidden Village, Hidden Mist Village, Sydney, Australia. And so on. I clicked on confirm, and it was done. After revising the capitals and village locations, I nodded with satisfaction. Would you like to unlock the rewards for completing the system setup? Finally, something good. I muttered, tapping on the yes button. Congratulations, host. You have received the following rewards for completing the nation creation phase. 1. Chakra activation at Genin level. 2. Basic Academy techniques. Clone Jutsu. Substitution Jutsu. Transformation Jutsu. 3. Fire Release, Fireball Jutsu. The moment I read the list, I felt a sudden rush of energy coursing through my body. My hands trembled as I instinctively made a hand sign, feeling the warmth of chakra flowing through me. So this is chakra, I whispered, clenching and unclenching my fists. My body felt alive, stronger, faster, and more connected to the world around me. I stood in the middle of the room and decided to test it out. Alright, let's start with something simple. I focused on the clone jutsu, forming the hand seals, ram, snake, tiger. A puff of smoke appeared beside me, and a perfect copy of myself materialized. Not bad, I said, circling the clone. It wasn't solid, but it looked real enough to fool someone at first glance. Next, I tried the fireball jutsu. I opened the window to avoid burning the room down, formed the necessary seals, and exhaled. A small, controlled burst of flames shot out of my mouth, dissipating into the air. I smirked. This is going to be fun. Dash dash dash. Would you like to access the system shop? Dash dash dash. The words caught my attention. Shop. Now we're talking. I tapped on the option, and a new screen appeared, listing items, upgrades, and jutsu for sale. Dash dash dash. System shop. Level 1. Chakra upgrades. Genin level, 500 shock points. Chunin level, 10,000 shock points. Jonin level, 100,000 shock points. Elite Jonin level, 300,000 shock points. Low Cage level, 500,000 shock points. Jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu, 80,000 shock points. Chidori, 150,000 shock points. Rasengan, 200,000 shock points. Summoning Jutsu, 100,000 shock points. Items. Kunai and Shuriken set, 200 shock points. Basic Ninja Outfit, 300 shock points. Chakra Pills X5, 400 shock points. Bloodline and Special Abilities. Uchiha Bloodline, 5,000 shock points. 1 Tomo Sharingan, 10,000 shock points. 2 Tomo Sharingan, 30,000 shock points. 3 Tomo Sharingan, 50,000 shock points. Mangekyo Sharingan, locked. Dash dash dash. My eyes locked onto the Sharingan section, particularly the 1 Tomo Sharingan. 10,000 points for just the first stage. I muttered, shaking my head. That's steep. But I guess it makes sense, this isn't supposed to be easy. Looking at the list, I realized how far I still had to go. My current techniques were basic, and even though I had a decent amount of chakra, I was far from being able to compete with the monsters in this world. The shop screen disappeared, replaced by another message. Dash dash dash. Shock points, 0. Generate shock value by introducing Naruto concepts into this world. The more significant the impact, the greater the rewards. Dash dash dash. Looks like I'm starting from scratch, I muttered and looked at the system window again. Tell me one thing first, what was the reason for choosing the national boundaries of the elemental nations, and how will we hide these villages? Also, where will the people in them come from? The villages exist in a separate small dimension. In fact, the villages were created just now when you created the elemental nations. The reason for their creation was that the national politics in Naruto are very deep, and without them, you can't properly represent the Naruto world in this world. What about the people in those villages? Were they also created by you? No, they were not created by me. You need to reach shop level 2 for information on how you can fill those villages with people. Okay, then. This means I have a long way to go. Just as I was about to close the system window, my phone buzzed again. It was another message from my friend. Yo, Itachi, where are you? You know that Rias Senpai's group has added that Issei into their club, and everyone's talking about it. Why don't we also apply join? I frowned. Rias Grimori, one of the main characters of High School DxD. If Issei is in her group, that means the plot has already started. I grabbed my bag, adjusted my uniform, and stepped out of the apartment. If I wanted to earn shock points, I needed to start making waves. And what better place to begin than Kuo Academy, where all the madness began? Time to put this system to the test, I muttered, a smirk tugging at my lips. 4 comments 0 vote. Download the app for greater interaction. You can chat with me about my writing experience apart from the comments section. King_001FN. Download app now. Students Council. As I made my way toward Kuo Academy more than an hour late, I couldn't help but notice the stairs. It wasn't subtle. Girls openly glanced my way, some whispering to their friends, others simply looking me up and down. A few even giggled when I walked past. It was strange. Back in my previous life, I was never the kind of guy to attract attention. Yet here, every step I took seemed to draw their eyes. When I caught one of the girls staring, I gave her a small smile, mostly out of habit. Her face turned beet red, and she quickly turned away, dragging her friend along with her. I chuckled softly to myself. So this is what it feels like to be noticed. By the time I reached the school gates, I was certain of one thing: Kuo Academy had an unusually high ratio of girls to boys. The few boys I saw seemed to stick together, as if forming their own support groups in a sea of estrogen. Inside the main building, the attention continued. Girls in the hallway, accidentally, brushed past me or slowed down to look. I even overheard a few whispers. Is that Itachi? He is also quiet today, but isn't he kind of handsome? I heard he never talks to anyone except his friend. Mysterious guys are so attractive. Do you think he likes girls who take the first step? It was surreal, but amusing. If they only knew the real me, awkward and socially clueless. I climbed the stairs to my classroom, stopping briefly as I spotted a familiar face. It was Akio, one of the few guys I'd managed to befriend in this world. He waved lazily, his expression halfway between concern and annoyance. Where the hell have you been? Sona was pissed. You're like an hour and a half late. I scratched the back of my head, offering a sheepish smile. Got caught up with something. Akio raised an eyebrow. You. Caught up with something? You don't even talk to people. Things change, I replied. Before he could question me further, a white-haired girl in a student council armband approached, with a professional air, and didn't bother with pleasantries. Sona-sama has requested your presence, she said curtly. Akio gave me a look, half pity, half amusement. Good luck, man. She looked ready to kill earlier. Following a student council member through the halls, I became aware of how many eyes were still on me. Girls whispered and glanced away whenever I looked in their direction, clearly uncomfortable, or excited, about me being summoned by the ever-intimidating Sona Shitori. When we reached the student council room, the door creaked open, and I was ushered inside. Sona sat at her desk, her usual blank expression in place. Her sharp, calculating gaze locked onto me the moment I stepped inside. Around her, the other members of the council were busy with paperwork, though a few paused to watch the interaction. Itachi, Sona said, her tone cool. You're late. I nodded, meeting her gaze evenly. I know. I apologize for that. Her eyes narrowed slightly, and the room seemed to tense. Sona was one of the smartest and most disciplined people I'd ever met. I knew she didn't tolerate tardiness, especially not from someone like me. The previous, Itachi, she remembered rarely spoke more than a word or two. You seem different, she said, her voice softening slightly but still guarded. Care to explain? I hesitated, trying to gauge how much to reveal. Just trying to make some changes. For the better. Her expression didn't shift, but I noticed a flicker of something in her eyes, curiosity, perhaps. Very well, she said finally, leaning back in her chair. But don't let it happen again. I expect punctuality from everyone. Understood, I said with a slight bow. As I turned to leave, I noticed the other student council members exchanging glances. It was clear they weren't used to this side of me. Walking back to class, I felt the weight of the interaction lift slightly. Still, I knew I was treading on thin ice. The old Itachi had been quiet, stoic, and distant. Only nodding his head when someone speaks to him. My sudden shift in behavior would undoubtedly raise questions, not just from Sona but from everyone around me. 1 comment 0 vote. Kaniko's secret. As the day progressed, I found myself alone on the roof of the school, enjoying the quiet. The cool breeze carried away the noise of the bustling students below, giving me a rare moment of peace. I leaned against the railing, staring into the distance, lost in thought. A soft rustle drew my attention. A little girl with pure white hair and a doll-like face sat on a bench nearby, her small frame almost blending into the scenery. She had an air of innocence but also an unmistakable sharpness in her gaze. Kaneko Tuju. I immediately recognized her. Another heroine of this world, and a devil under Rias's peerage. She was quiet, stoic, and rarely interacted with anyone unless necessary. She didn't even glance at me, her golden eyes focused on the snack in her hands as she nibbled on it like a cat. I decided to ignore her for now. Drawing her attention unnecessarily might complicate things. Instead, I focused on something much more pressing, my system. System, explain why I earned 7 shock points earlier. I asked as I already have 7 shock point in my status without doing anything. A familiar translucent window popped up before me, displaying the system's response in bold text. Because you managed to shock people around you. The previous you was quiet and withdrawn with a motionless face. Your sudden change in behavior startled those who knew you, earning you 7 shock points. I got 7 shock points just by interacting with students differently. So how much will I earn if I completely change my personality? 28 more shock points. Not bad. But that's just from the people who already know me, right? What about strangers and normal humans? Can I gain shock points from them too? Yes. Shock points can be earned from anyone as long as your actions surprise them or break their expectations of you. I smirked, considering my options. There were so many ways to go about this, some less morally upright than others. A dark thought crossed my mind, and I couldn't help but smile. If I really wanted to, I could exploit this system to its fullest. The system, ever neutral, didn't respond to my internal musings, but I knew it was keeping track. I glanced over at Kaneko, still quietly eating her snack. She didn't seem to care about my presence, and that suited me fine. But then a plan started to form. What if I used her to get initial shock points to put my plans in action? Not in a malicious way, of course, but just enough to rack up some points. Kaneko wasn't the type to react strongly to anything, so even eliciting a small reaction from her could yield significant shock value. But how? I pondered. As the thought crossed my mind, I let out a low chuckle, causing Kaneko to glance up at me for the first time. Her golden eyes met mine briefly before she returned to her snack, clearly uninterested. Still, that tiny glance was enough to confirm something. If I could crack through her stoic exterior, I'd be able to test the system further. Time to make things interesting. The rooftop grew quieter as Kaneko eventually stood up, brushing off her skirt with her usual emotionless demeanor. She gave me one last glance, as if debating whether to say something, but ultimately walked toward the door without a word. I waited until the door clicked shut behind her before taking a deep breath. From my bag, I retrieved a plain sheet of paper and a pen. What I was about to do wasn't exactly ethical, but it was necessary. The key to earning shock points lay in breaking expectations, in revealing something so unexpected that it rattled the other person to their core. 1 comment 0 vote. Shocking shock points. Taking out a sheet of paper from the bag, I began writing about the truth of her sister. Dear Sharon. What I'm about to tell you isn't easy, but you deserve to know the truth, about your past, your sister, and what really happened. You've grown up believing that Kuroka abandoned you, that she killed her master because she lost control and ran away. But that's not the whole story. Your master was a cruel devil who used both of you for experiments. He pushed Kuroka beyond her limits, torturing her to force out the full potential of her Nekosho abilities. When he realized Kuroka's powers had reached their peak, he set his sights on you, Sharon. Kuroka couldn't allow that. She killed your master, not because she wanted freedom for herself, but because she wanted to protect you. She took a terrible risk and sacrificed everything to save your life. In doing so, she became a criminal in the underworld, branded as a stray devil. But I believe her love for you never wavered, even as she was forced to flee. The proof of her love lies in something you've kept all these years, the hair clip she gave you. That clip wasn't just a gift. It holds the proof you need to confirm my words. You've feared your own Nekosho powers, associating them with Kuroka's supposed betrayal. But your power is not something to fear, Sharon. It is a gift, and it's a part of who you are. I'm leaving this letter in hopes that it will reach you. I'm just someone who knows more than I should, but I promise, I only wish for you to understand the truth and ensure the things that happen to me never happen to anyone else. Sincerely, Akatsuki. Itachi placed the letter in a small box of candies, knowing full well she liked chocolates. He carefully left the box near the old school building, where Kaneko spent much of her time. With one last glance, he turned and walked away, leaving the rest to fate. Itachi's pav. The walk home was quiet, but my mind was racing. I couldn't stop thinking about the note I left. Would they find it? Would it have the intended impact? Or had I just stirred a hornet's nest I wasn't prepared to handle? The system remained silent for the moment, which only added to the suspense. I sighed as I stepped into my house and closed the door behind me, the faint creak of the hinges punctuating the stillness. I kicked off my shoes and slumped into a chair in the living room, letting my bag drop to the floor. The weight of the day finally caught up with me. Then it happened. Ding. The first notification appeared in my vision, the glowing text hovering before my eyes. Rias Grimoire has seen your note, 17,000 shock value. I straightened in my chair, my heart pounding. She found it. The realization brought a mix of relief and anxiety. Ding. Another one popped up. Akano Himahima has seen your note, 16,500 shock value. My lips curled into a small, triumphant smile. The plan was unfolding perfectly. But the notifications didn't stop. Ding. Kaneko Tuju has seen your note, 500,000 shock value. My eyes widened, and I leaned forward as if the action would somehow make the numbers less shocking. 500,000. I couldn't believe it. What I'd written must have hit her harder than I imagined. After a few minutes, the next wave of notifications hit me like a storm. Ding. Rias Grimoires and Sona Citri's peerages have seen the letter, 30,000 shock value. Ding. Kaneko Tuju has seen the recordings, 5 million shock value. My jaw dropped. What? I muttered aloud. My mind raced to figure out what had triggered this much shock point. Only with 100,000 shock point I can reach the level of original Itachi Uchiha in his childhood, which is equivalent to mid-level devil if my calculations are not wrong. Before I could piece my thoughts together, another notification came. Ding. Rias Grimoire, Sona Citri and their peerages have seen the recordings, 2 million shock value. I nearly fell out of my chair, my heart pounding like a drum. What the actual hell is going on? The numbers were astronomical. Whatever had happened after they found the note had completely blindsided me. Whatever happens next, I murmured to myself, there's no turning back now. I might have walked straight into a minefield. 3 comments 0 vote. Shopping. Itachi sat in his chair, staring at the flood of notifications with a furrowed brow. His breathing steadied as he summoned the system interface. System, he began calmly, why did I receive such a high amount of shock points? The glowing text of the system materialized before him, delivering its monotone response. The shock value earned corresponds to the level of disruption caused to the original timeline. Your recent actions have significantly altered Sharon Kaneko Tuju's understanding of her sister, Kuroka. This divergence, coupled with the emotional weight of the recordings and their subsequent distribution to the peerages, has set off ripples, fundamentally shifting the plot. The plot has been changed by you. Itachi tapped a finger against the armrest, processing the information. So, the points are tied to how much I disrupt the timeline, he murmured. The system wasn't done yet. While you have earned a significant amount of shock points, you are far from reaching the pinnacle. To become the strongest in this world and stand above all others, you require 10 billion shock points. Itachi let out a low whistle. 10 billion, that's a daunting number. Leaning back. If I'm going to reach that level, I'll need to shake things up even more. But why do everything myself, he smirked, when I can send my shadow clones? Itachi stared at the glowing interface of the system shop, his expression calm but focused. Each tap of his finger on the ethereal display brought him closer to the power he needed. The first section he opened was chakra upgrades. Let's ensure I have the reserves to handle everything, he muttered, tapping the options. Genin level chakra reserves Chunin level. A glowing confirmation appeared before him. Purchase confirmed, 10,000 shock points deducted. Chunin level chakra reserves Jonin level. As the points were deducted, a flood of chakra filled his body, making him feel stronger. Purchase confirmed, 50,000 shock points deducted. Jonin level chakra reserves elite Jonin level. Itachi smirked as the system finalized the upgrade. Purchase confirmed, 100,000 shock points deducted. It's like being reborn, he murmured, clenching his fist as the chakra within him felt infinite compared to before. Satisfied with his reserves, he moved to the bloodline and Sharingan progression section. His Sharingan flickered to life, the tomo spinning lazily as he scanned the upgrades. Unlock Uchiha bloodline. Purchase confirmed, 5,000 shock points deducted. The familiar heat of his bloodline flared within him, amplifying his connection to his heritage. 1 Tomo Sharingan 2 Tomo Sharingan. His Sharingan pulsed, evolving before his eyes. Purchase confirmed, 30,000 shock points deducted. 2 Tomo Sharingan 3 Tomo Sharingan. The power in his gaze grew sharper. His vision became clearer, every detail in his surroundings magnified. Purchase confirmed, 50,000 shock points deducted. 3 Tomo Sharingan Mangekyo Sharingan. The final upgrade sent a shiver down his spine as the Mangekyo Sharingan awakened, its unique pattern blazing in his eyes. Purchase confirmed, 100,000 shock points deducted. Itachi took a deep breath, feeling the immense power coursing through him. Perfect. Next, he navigated to the jutsu section. His fingers hovered briefly before selecting the essentials. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Purchase confirmed, 80,000 shock points deducted. Knowledge of the technique instantly flooded his mind. This will save me time. Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu. Purchase confirmed, 50,000 shock points deducted. The familiar warmth of fire chakra swirled within him. Advanced Body Flicker Technique. Purchase confirmed, 40,000 shock points deducted. Itachi smirked, already imagining the chaos he could sow with this technique. Finally, he tapped into the items section for basic tools. Kunai and Shuriken Set. Purchase confirmed, 200 shock points deducted. A neatly arranged set of weapons materialized on the table beside him. Basic Ninja Outfit. Purchase confirmed, 300 shock points deducted. A durable outfit tailored for combat appeared, perfectly fitting his style. Chakra Pills X5. Purchase confirmed, 400 shock points deducted. A small pouch filled with potent pills landed beside the weapons. Closing the shop interface, Itachi glanced at his new tools and upgrades. Without hesitation, he performed the hand seals for the Shadow Clone Jutsu. 3 puffs of smoke filled the room, and a perfect clone of him appeared, standing silently. You, Itachi said, his voice firm. Your mission is to kill every criminal in the surrounding city. Show no mercy. The clone nodded, grabbing the kunai and shuriken before disappearing with a flicker. I looked at the second clone. You will gather intel on the largest gold reserves across the world. I want every detail, locations, security measures, and vulnerabilities. The second clone vanished, leaving the room silent again. Finally, Itachi looked at his clone. Your task is to monitor this city. Notify me immediately of any supernatural events or significant deviations in the plot. The clone acknowledged the command and disappeared into the night. Itachi leaned back in his chair, a smirk playing on his lips. The plan is simple. I'll shake the world to its core. If even ordinary humans can generate shock points, I'll target them, too. His eyes gleamed with the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan as he murmured, first, I'll purge surrounding city of its criminals and draw the attention of the Devil Lords. Then, I'll rob every nation's gold reserves. If the economy collapses, I can return the gold later, creating even more shock point. 0 comments 0 vote. First public appearance 1. Itachi stood in his kitchen, preparing for the evening when an abrupt wave of information surged into his mind. His shadow clone vanished on its own. His eyes widened as memories of the scene unfolded in his mind. Asia Argento was moments away from death and no one come to save her. That's why I gained so many shock points earlier, Itachi muttered, his voice low. Asia's death wasn't a part of the original timeline, she will be saved by Rias but there is no sign of her. He closed his eyes, focusing on the memories left by the clone. A decrepit church on the outskirts of the city. Fallen priests. A vile ceremony underway to extract her sacred gear just like in the anime. She can't die, he decided, vanishing from his room in an instant. With the body flicker technique, his silhouette blurred into nothingness, leaving only a faint rustle of air. Dash dash dash. In the dimly lit hall of the church, Asia Argento knelt, her fragile body restrained by glowing chains of light. Her emerald eyes brimmed with tears, though her faith in salvation remained unshaken. Around her, a group of rogue exorcists chanted ominously, their dark robes fluttering as unholy energy pulsed through the air. Let the sacred gear be ours. Fried Selzen, the maniacal priest, grinned wickedly, wielding his blade as he directed the ritual. This is it, boys. With twilight healing in our hands, we'll be unstoppable. Asia's sobbing voice echoed through the cavernous chamber. Please, someone, save me. Yet no savior came. Dash dash dash. Old school building. In the occult research club room, Rias Grimori paced back and forth, her crimson hair trailing behind her. Her expression was tense as she turned to Kaneko Tuju, who sat stiffly in her chair, unusually quiet. Seeing her like this, Rias' heart becomes heavy. Rias crossed her arms, uncertainty and anger towards her own kind flashing in her eyes. She turned to Sona Citri, who was seated beside her. Sona, can you and your peerage patrol the city tonight? I don't want to leave her alone. Sona adjusted her glasses, her expression calm but decisive. Fine. I'll guard the city, take care of her Rias. As the two devil leaders finalized their plans, Issei Hyodo stood to the side, frustrated and impatient. What about Asia? She's still in trouble. We should go help her now. Rias shook her head, her voice firm. We can't act recklessly, Issei, we can't interfere with fallen angels. Issei's hands clenched into fists. I don't care about Underworld's politics. Asia is my friend. If you won't go, then I'll go alone. Issei, don't be stupid, Rias began, but he was already gone, running out of the room. Sona sighed, turning to Rias. You're too lenient with him. Rias closed her eyes, guilt flickering across her face. I just hope he doesn't do anything reckless. Dash dash dash. Issei barged into the church, panting heavily as he pushed open the creaking doors. His sacred gear, boosted gear, gleamed faintly on his arm as he charged forward. He somehow already unlocked it when fighting outside priest. Thanks to Kiba he managed to come this close. Asia. I'm here to save you. He shouted, his voice echoing through the empty hall. But he was too late. Asia's lifeless body lay crumpled on the cold stone floor, her golden hair stained with blood. Her emerald eyes, once full of hope, were now dull and vacant. Fried stood over her corpse, laughing maniacally as he held the extracted sacred gear in his hands. Too slow, loser. Fried taunted, spinning his blade. The nun's gone to heaven, or hell, who knows? Guess you'll be joining her soon. Issei fell to his knees, his heart shattering into pieces. No, Asia, I'm sorry. Tears streamed down his face as he reached out to her still form. His trembling fingers barely grazed her hand. Dash dash dash. Unseen by all, Itachi Uchiha stood in the shadows, his Sharingan glowing faintly. He had arrived moments earlier, his heart sinking as he took in the grim scene. From his concealed position, he watched as Sona, Rias, Akeno, and their peerages approached the church from different directions. Their presences, though subtle, were unmistakable to him. So, they finally come, Itachi murmured to himself. He observed Issei, broken and vulnerable, kneeling by Asia's corpse. Itachi's gaze darkened. This wasn't supposed to happen. If I am not wrong, she can only be revived when her time of death is not long. Dash dash dash. Rias and her peerage entered the church. Akeno stepped forward, lightning crackling at her fingertips as her eyes locked onto Fried. Your time is up, you vermin, Akeno said coldly, her voice laced with fury. Fried cackled. Oh, look, it's the devils. Too bad you're late to the party. The nun's already dead. I can save her and add her to my peerage, Rias thought and was about to move, but then a light attack was launched from behind her. She dodged it perfectly and looked back. There were 3 fallen angels with 2 wings. Soon, human priests also started to emerge, surrounding them. I can handle them, she thought, but then it will be too late to save her. Just when she was deciding what to do, the sound of air being sliced could be heard. Human bodies began to fall to the ground. Next chapter. DxD.